Hello guys, today I'm going to show you guys how to draw 10 different types of female anime eyes. So let's get started. First off, we are going to draw two lines for the eyes and then a line for the center of the eyes. And I'm going to start with a pretty simple eye, something that is very common. So let's just draw a large curve, almost like a ball, down to the side, something like this. And on the other side it's gonna be a little bit narrower because this eye is gonna be a little bit further from the camera than this eye. And again, it's gonna have the same shape, a large curve, almost like a circle or an ellipse. And then like this, pretty okay. I think this one, the gap between these two eyes are a little bit too big. I'm gonna make them a little bit closer. So let me just be quick and finish this. Okay, so we got it, and then let's just draw two lines for the eyelid. They're gonna be, both of them are gonna be on the same side, and most of the time they're just connected with the eyelashes or eyelid or whatever you call it. And then for the eyebrow, it's gonna follow this shape a little bit, curving down to the side, and of course this one is going to be symmetrical, so it's going to be curving down this side this way. So it looks pretty okay, pretty normal, nothing special. So now one thing that you can do to easily make it look a little bit more, give it more feeling or whatever you call it, is that you can thicken the eyelashes or eyelid. It will be more beautiful, and it's one of the characteristics of a female eye. It gives it femininity. I don't know how you call it. But by the way, let's go ahead and draw the shadows, shading of the eyes, which is gonna be, there are tons of ways to do it, and for this tutorial I'm gonna do something like this. For this eye specifically. Okay, so I give it a small dot. That's gonna be the highlight, and then I'm just gonna shadow everything inside that area that I drew. And then I'm just gonna make the top part of it a little bit darker, but you probably can see it there. So that's it. This is the first eye, and now let's go ahead and go to the second eye. And for the second eye, and by the way, I hope you guys can see it. It's a little bit small, but because I'm recording with an iPhone, the quality is a little bit bad, but I'll try best to zoom in and while keep the quality of the video. So for another eye, let's just draw two lines, and then for this I'm actually gonna go for something really narrow. Let's try some variations. This one is gonna be narrow, and then like this. I know this one looks a little bit like a male, like the eyes of a male, but it is actually a female that I'm drawing, at least that I'm trying to draw. And just gonna draw it so that it faces the other side. So that it looks at the same place. So this guy's looking a little bit to left, and then his eyes is gonna be looking at us. For the eyelid, it's just gonna be lines that follow the line, and it's gonna be like that. I don't really know, something like that. So for these two eyes, it's pretty much just two straight lines, a little bit curved. You know, there are many ways you can of course edit the style a little bit if you don't like it that much. Then for the eyes, I'm just gonna go for some really simple two lines again. This one is really simple shapes. Those lines are almost straight lines, a little bit curved. And for the insides, I'm actually gonna do the same thing, but since this one is so small, you probably can't see the dot, the highlight with a dot, so I'm just gonna leave that out. I'm just gonna shadow everything inside the area with the iris, and then that's okay, don't even need to shadow the upper half of it. And actually I'm gonna thicken the eye a little bit, and of course you could add some eyelashes if you want. And by the way, this one I could have added some eyelashes too, but no, I'm just gonna leave it like that. Okay, so this was the second eye. Now let's go for the third eye, which is gonna be, once again, I'm gonna draw two lines and a line for the center of the eyes, and then sorry, gonna try again a fairly simple shape, something like a mix between these two maybe. Probably need to draw it a little bit larger so that you guys can see it. Sorry, my voice is so bad today. Okay, so something like this, and then like this, and a little bit too close to the center, I guess. And for the other one, it's gonna be something like this. And then for the eyebrows, maybe two eyebrows that are pretty close to the eyes. You know, to make it a little bit more feminine, most often you have to raise the eyebrow so that the eyebrow is very far from the eyes. But for this one, it's gonna be a little bit special, a little bit unique. This is gonna be its characteristics, one of its characteristics. Now for the shadowing, just gonna do something really simple like this, and then again shadow everything inside of that area that I circled out, and that's it. This eye is done. Of course you could have added two eyelids. Eyelids are really important in anime because they are often considered as beautiful or a sign of beauty in Asia. So you will most often see people, I mean beautiful people in anime with a line for the eyelid. And if you want to draw someone beautiful, or just a general anime character, because anime characters in general are beautiful, you should have eyelid, line for the eyelid at least. So that's it. Take a good look at this, and then let's go for the fourth one. Now I've noticed that I have a large gap between these eyes, so I'm gonna increase the size of the eyes that I draw a little bit so that you guys can see it a little bit better. Now for the third eye, I'm gonna go for something much more masculine. I know these three are actually quite masculine for anime characters, but that's just, since we started it, let's go for something really masculine, which is gonna be something like this. Now I haven't made a video on how to make an eye masculine, But I've talked a little bit about it on my video where I show you guys the differences between male face and female face. So, and one of the thing is that this line, if it curves, I mean if it falls downwards like a V shape to the center, then it is more masculine, while if you curve it, the other way, like this eye, then it's gonna be more feminine. That's at least the rule of the thumb. Now for the eye shadowing, just gonna do this really simple, just like all the other eyes that I drew. Now let's just draw this one a little bit thicker, and let's not make this one too thick. This one is going to be around, this is enough, because as I've said, this one is going to be masculine. So actually for this one I'm going to leave out and not draw the eyelids, just to make it even more masculine. Well, it does not really add something to masculinity, but just for variations, I'm just gonna leave it out. No eyelids. Okay, so now for the fifth eye, let's draw something a little bit like this one, squared, but just more feminine. So let's see if I can do it. So, by the way, this one is a little bit, just leave it out. I'm not gonna edit so much of what I've drawn before. You don't live in the past. We have to look into the future and forget the past sometimes. Okay, so in order to make it more feminine, make a more feminine version of this eye, I'm going to make it curve downwards like this, and also make the, it also has to be rigid lines like this one, of course. But what I'm trying to say is to make this one curve downwards, and then also make the lines thicker, the eyelashes, maybe even add some eyelashes. And then I could have added some eyelid lines for the eyelids, and then for the eyebrow is gonna be two really long lines that are pretty close to the eyes. Some eyebrows match some types of eyes, and I feel like this one matches it just because of its rigid form. This eyebrow is also pretty rigid, pretty straight, and it also curves in harmony with the upper eye line. Okay, for the shadows, let's go ahead and do the same thing, exactly same thing. Let's go for the other way. Let's have the highlight on the other way, other side. Yes, other side. Okay, pretty good one. Now, as I've said, I have to make it a little bit thicker so that it looks more feminine. And you can also see that more feminine eyes also tend to have more, tend to curve a little bit more than masculine eyes. If you have really rigid form, it's gonna look much more masculine. So just remember that. I'm just gonna add some casual eyelashes. And for this one, yes, some eyelashes too. That's pretty okay. So Okay, let's not waste time and go ahead and draw the sixth eye, which is gonna be something really feminine. Let's go ahead and draw really feminine eye. I don't know how it should be. Okay, so for this eye, I'm gonna have it like a lot of makeup. I'm gonna give her a lot of makeup, and I'm going to give her a lot of eyelashes and a really large pupil. Well, all of these were large though. And I'm gonna give her a thick lower line of the eye, and I'm also gonna give her, you know, some more extricate the shading for the pupil. So for this eye, let's just make it as thick and as feminine as possible, and even eyelashes below the eyes is okay. So now let's do this. Okay, for the other side it's gonna be really large eyelashes. Personally, I don't prefer to draw these kind of eyes. I think they are not as beautiful as some really simple natural shaped eyes, but still some anime have it, so I'm just gonna show you guys how I would have drawn it. I'm really not used to drawing these kind of eyes. Sorry guys if I make it too ugly for you guys. Now for this part, I'm actually gonna give her some really thick mascara. Okay, so sometimes the the upper line for the eye could be so thick that you actually draw two lines and then shade everything inside it. But for this one, I'm just gonna draw repeated lines to make it thicker and thicker. So finally, let's go ahead and do the insides of the eye. So as I've said, it's gonna be much more extricate for this eye. Actually gonna draw lines around it. Yeah, let's try to draw some lines around it to make it look much more realistic and extricate. Exquisite. Extricate is no, extricate is no word. I'm sorry guys, I was trying to say exquisite. Yes, exquisite. That was the word that I was looking for. Okay, so now let's shadow everything inside it, including the pupil, the iris, and then also shadows a small part under the highlight, like that. And then let's shadow the upper part of it so that it becomes much darker. Well, it can't get much darker because of this terrible pencil, but like that, pretty okay. I accept this one. I'll accept this one. Hope you guys accept this one. It's pretty okay. So now let's go ahead and draw a seventh eye. What I've noticed is that I tend to draw eyes that are, other people who draw eyes, they tend to have, what was I trying to say? They tend to draw it directly from some type of character, but I'm just taking some references. You know, these are eyes I have taken references from some anime, but most of them are just improvised by me. So let's go ahead and draw something I don't know, simple. I don't know, no, but by now I really don't have any more types of eyes that I actually have. I'm just gonna draw something that is pretty normal. It could be a guy's eye, I think, but it could also be a girl's eye. So that's how this one works. So let's give her this rounded eyebrow, and let's give her some, I don't know, so basically it's just 2 lines down there. That corner was wrong. It's just a curve like that, and okay, maybe some corners, I don't know. And that's pretty much it. I don't really know what I can draw. Now let's go ahead and shadow everything inside of it. So for this one, I'm just gonna give her a really large highlight just to get some variations, because this one was not really unique. This one was like a completely mundane, maybe a prototype eye for whatever you're drawing. This one does not have any uniqueness, is not recognizable, but a simple one. Simple enough. Yes. Okay, so since this one, I've drawn this one, I've actually had an idea now. I can draw a really realistic eye, which is gonna be much more narrower than everything that I've drawn. Maybe as narrow, maybe more narrower than that one. So let's go ahead and draw the realistic eye, which is gonna be, of course, have a realistic shape, and it's gonna, I mean, surround. I mean, the lines for the eyes is gonna be completely connected. It's not gonna be very anime-like, but some anime have really realistic eyes, so we're just gonna include this one, just for the sake of variations. Now for the pupil, as I've drawn in all the other eyes, it's gonna be more covered by the eyelid than by the lower eyelid, but it's not that significant. Now that's the line for the eyelid, and then an eye for the eyebrow, 2 lines for them. And as you can see, this one could be a guy too. I know this one could very well be the eyes of a guy, but this one is a girl. You know, realistically, eyes of a guy and eyes of a girl is not that much different. And by the way, again, I'm gonna give her some realistic shading. So let's just make a highlight and then let's just shadow around the pupil to give it a 3D look, and then around the highlight is going to be really dark just to make it look more like a light, and then of course make the iris dark, and then we're just gonna give it a gradient from this highlight and down to the other side. No, there are tons of ways to draw, to shade shade a pupil, and you're just gonna find one that works for you. And of course I've added some lines just to make it look like those eye prints or eye pattern, I don't know what you call it. Now let's go ahead and draw something squared, a really square eye. I really don't know, but I'm just trying to think of something really unique. But let's just draw something really squared, but still look okay. It has to look a little bit okay. No, I've seen quite a lot of squared eyes in anime, so I kind of remember it from some anime that I've seen. So it's just gonna be like that, and then now it's just kind of making an expression now, facial expression, but it's okay. I'm just going to do it, and then let's give it a circle, and some shadowing, of course. And then highlight. That's it. Okay, so for this one, I'm not gonna give her those thick eyelines. This is gonna be like that. And by the way, this one, I think she could look much more feminine with much thicker eyeliner and some eyelashes. So I'm just gonna add some eyelashes to her. You know, some people really like eyelashes in anime, but I'm a person who don't like them. But still, I'm going to add them here just for femininity and just for variations. Okay, pretty good. Now finally we are on to the last eye. So I'm just going to draw something, I don't know. Let's just draw an eye that is really simple, just for fun. I'm just gonna draw an eye that I've seen in One Piece, and that is just two lines that are completely symmetrical, one for the upper eye line and one for the lower eye line, and it's gonna be symmetrical along the horizontal axis, and then it's gonna be a completely circle, a pupil, and that's it. Now let's of course give her an eyebrow, which is also gonna be a curve that is identical to the line for the eyelid, and then of course I had to get an eyelid for her, and that's about it. I've seen this one is in One Piece before, and of course they have some pretty unnatural eyelashes, I'll say, but they add it, so I'm gonna add it too. I've seen this one in, I think this one is quite cool because it's so simple and it works. At least it worked for One Piece. I'm not really good at drawing this because I think this one is, I feel really unnatural when I draw this. but it is basically like this. And then of course some really simple shadowing for what's inside, which is gonna be like this, and then maybe a highlight, and then everything inside it gets shaded. Again, the same for here. So yes, I know this one might not look like the one from One Piece because I'm getting it right off my memory now, but it should be recognizable. And we are done, guys. We are done, finally. And by the way, I'm sorry, but let me just finish off this one. The lines were a little bit unclear, but they don't even have those thick lines for the eyes. Of course, some this is just the eyes for some female characters in One Piece, but just for the sake of femininity, I'm gonna give it a little bit thicker, gonna make the upper line, but that's about it. So let me just zoom out and take a look at all the eyes that I have drawn. So I'm sorry guys, but my phone can't zoom out any further. But hope you guys found some eyes that you guys like, and hope you guys learned something new. And I will of course try to upload some more anime videos. And if you like this video, please leave a like, and if you want to see more, just subscribe to my channel. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.